I'm Rebecca Walker Reczek from The Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio.
I'm Cait Lamberton. I'm from the University of Pittsburgh. So what brings you to Münster today?
I am here to teach a 4-day doctoral seminar on consumer behavior. I'm actually here to co-teach it with you.
That's right.
Why is it worth it to you to come and spend several days here doing this?
Well, it's always fun to talk to different kinds of doctoral students with different backgrounds. And as we learned in the first day, they have a wide range of interests in where they want to go and what they want to do with marketing. And I think that helps us stay in touch more with where the field is going around the world instead of just where it's going in the United States.
So we're here to teach a course on consumer behavior. What excites you about consumer behavior research?
I like consumer behavior research because it lets us tell the story of human experience in a way that's very concrete, where we see the way that objects and exchanges and offerings affect people's actual lives every day. And as much as I've loved literature, and we both love literature, I love the way this tells the story in a really tangible, material way that we can see and feel. What about you?
It's actually a very similar answer to me, but maybe even a little bit more on a micro level.
Mm-hmm.
I really like understanding how people use products and brands to communicate their identity. So how do we use products and brands to tell other people who we are? But also, how do we learn about ourselves from the products and brands that we buy? How do products and brands send signals to ourselves, to others about who we are, who we want to be, who we're becoming?
We've talked a little bit about the fact that the field is changing and moving toward big data and algorithms. Where do you think we fit in as consumer behavior researchers?
So when I think about consumer behavior, I think that what we're truly experts in is consumer psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So really understanding the why. What is it that truly drives consumers? Because big data can often tell us what consumers are doing. It can tell us about correlates of behavior, but experimentation is still, in the age of big data, a really useful tool to get at the deep understanding of why. What is really driving behavior?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, too, that one thing that consumer behavior gives us is an idea of the right questions to ask. Right? I think I've talked to companies that are going to put together these enormous data sources, but then the question is going to be, what do we do with this, right? And in some ways, understanding consumer behavior theory and literature tells us what we already know, right? So they don't need to ask those questions, but it also tells us what we don't know yet and gives us different ways to ask those questions. I think in ways that are going to be a lot more productive than if it's not informed by some understanding of consumer psychology.
So you've received several awards throughout your career, including some early career awards. What advice do you have for young scholars?
Advice is always hard because, everyone's path is so different, right? But I think that I would say find people you really like working with. I think it also helps to remember that everyone gets rejected.
Everyone.
Right? All of us always
That
get rejected.
includes us. Yeah. So, in your opinion, Cait, what is good marketing?
Marketing that doesn't bore people would be one thing, because I think a lot of what we do gets a little bit boring, but I think that the most interesting marketing is the marketing that makes us think about who we really are. To your point about identity, the way we respond to messages tells us something. The things that speak to us tell us something. And I always find it fun when I watch the Super Bowl ads, so I often live tweet those with my students. It's so funny to see how different our reactions are. When they see the Doritos Puppy Monkey Baby, they think it's wonderful. I find it deeply disturbing. But even our opposite reactions to that are really interesting. And what about you? What do you think is bad marketing?
Bad marketing to me is also, the answer comes back to people. Anything that annoys people, that annoys the consumer. And I think we often see examples of that online. Mm-hmm. So a good one is when you visit a website and then an ad for that website follows you around for the next few days, even if you've decided, I don't want to buy that product. Or if you buy a product online and maybe you're happy with it, but the company keeps emailing you afterwards asking you, will you review the product? Will you review the product? Up to sometimes 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And so what might have been a positive experience for the consumer, you start moving them away from satisfaction with this push to get a post-purchase review and can actually change their attitude towards the brand.
Creativity. Stones.
Oh, okay.
Instagram.
Work.
Holiday.
King of rock.
Queen of pop. I'll take pop. Lecture hall.
Yeah, lecture hall.
Hotel.
lover.
Rigger.
Star Wars.
Trek.
Soccer.
Football. I'm from Pittsburgh. What can we
Yeah.
do?